Not as many Magic players can afford multiple Play Booster boxes. And with the prices of collector booster boxes, forget it. Today I'm going to show what a Marvel Play Booster box experience is like on a budget, and then open up one collector booster pack with it. Will I find anything good? Let's find out. Alright, so today I'm going to show us what the average player can expect to pull from a Marvel Superheroes Play Booster box. I'm so excited for this set, but I wanted to show what the average player can expect with just one Play Booster box. So then at the end, I'll show the collector booster pack, what the average player can expect to get there. I didn't purchase a whole box, I just felt like that was too expensive, so just advice would be to wait until those go down in price. Some of the cards I'm hoping to pull would be Wolverine. Well, any of them. Thor would be great. Guaranteed foil in every pack. Okay, let's open these up. Scan here to discover the coolest cards. Alright, so which one should I open up first? I love my boy Wolverine. That's not necessarily what's going to be in the pack, but I'm going to open this first. Alright, so this is pack 1. We've got our Wakandan drone flock, stolen Stark Tech, Rapid Rescue, Alright, Hawkeye's Bow. I know this one has caused quite a stink online. Great equipment. Buff up your creature, give it reach, and do 1 damage to each opponent every single time it attacks. Great card. Dark Deed, nice piece of removal there. Luke Cage, Power Man. Whenever he attacks alone, he does get +2 and 0 and gets indestructible until end of turn. Good Voltron there for an uncommon. Yes! Alright, okay, so we got Tony Stark. This is a really good card, one I was trying to chase here. On the front side, it allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your library and reveal an artifact from among them and put them into your hand, or put it into your hand. On the other side, if you transform it for 7 mana, it has flying, haste, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to put any artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield, and if it's an equipment, attach it to Iron Man. So this is going to make a great Voltron deck, or Artifacts deck. We've got Fin Fang Foom. Not stoked about his play pattern centered around artifact and land destruction, but we'll cover a specific commander build around him as a separate video here soon. Our Los Diablos Missile Base. And there you have it. Open up another pack here. Okay, we've got our Frozen Ice, Raft Security Officer, Roxxon Brutes. This creature is 4/4 and has Menace. It's actually really good for card draw decks in black. So whenever you draw your second card each turn, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. A good little payoff there. Giant Growth. This is a reprint. Another Hawkeye's Bow. a hydraulic helper. This Avengers Tower. This is a nice way to fix your mana. Got Wonder Man. He lets you power up your abilities multiple times per turn. What would be nice is if this would go in a Thanos Mad Titan deck. We've got Speedball, New Warrior. This is one of the ones I was excited to pull. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets Speedball, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and you may choose new targets for that spell. So that is any player that casts a spell that targets Speedball. That is Moonstone, Harsh Mistress. A nice discard option here. Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is a good 5-color commander if you want to go ahead and pull heroes of every color into one deck. We've got a Villainous Hideout here. This is a foil. I'm not so sure that you can really see that come through. But this will be your mana fixer for villain decks. And then a basic mountain. Okay, let's open up another pack here. Got our robot villain token. Okay, Brave Brawler. Yeah, this one might also go on the low end of a Spider-Man deck here. Got another Ninja of the Hand. And Atlantis Attacks. Take up the Shield. Hire a crew. So overall, I'm excited for this set. I think there are some really good cards in here. We've pulled a couple of them already. I think there is a good commander in Iron Man. She-Hulk Jade Defender here, probably not the greatest, but you do have a built-in artifact and enchantment removal right there. Okay, Hex Magic. This card's pretty crazy for an uncommon. It lets you exile your whole hand and replace it with that many cards. So then you still have access to the exiled cards until the end of next turn. So this will go pretty crazy with Spell Slinger and Storm style decks. Yes, Mole Man. Mole Man was one I was excited to pull. So this one, you can have one heck of a landfall deck. You can play lands from your graveyard, so you can go ahead and mill cards to get cards there and then play them from the graveyard. And whenever you do, you get to create a 1/1 green minion creature token named Moloid. With whenever this token attacks, you may mill a card. So it's kind of a self-dealing thing. We get our Cosmic Cube. Fans who are familiar with the Marvel movies would recognize the Cosmic Cube from the whole Loki part of the Infinity Saga. We've got our Kree Sentinel, which will go good in any artifact villain decks. Nice 5/5 body. We've got our tap land here, and of course our token. Let's open up another one. Visions of Villainy. Spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a villain. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Alright, Super Suit is a good one. Whenever it enters, attach it to target creature you control and untap that creature. So you can attack and then equip it to untap it. This is one that I was excited to get to. It can copy a target activated or triggered ability you control from a creature source. So this is good to go ahead and copy a lot of your most broken abilities. We've got another beast. Misty Knight. A good Scarlet Witch card here. So this one's good commander for a big mana deck. So if you've got sorceries and instants that are 4 or more mana, this will help you reduce that cost. Maybe equip some equipment or put some +1 counters on it, and all of a sudden you've got some really cheap spells. A Hollow Agent of Atlas. A mountain, and an insect token. So let's open another. Okay, here we've got the Brave Brawler again. The Hydra Infiltration. Again, this is another one that I like. Helicarrier Strike. Got a Widow's Bite. Here's a good callback to the movies. I Am Iron Man. Go Nuts, a good one for a Squirrel Girl. Of course, another Kree Sentinel. What would you do without one of those? Claim the Kingdom. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I was excited to pull. So whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control and a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it, and whenever you do, put an indestructible counter on target creature you control. So you could put this in a Mole Man deck. This would work pretty well there. Any deck where you want to put +1/+1 counters and buff up your commander with indestructible would be a good choice here. We get to Captain America Living Legend. This basically gives all of your creatures vigilance, so long as it's the first time that they've been tapped during the turn. I've got Jessica Jones here. You can put stun counter on her and exile the top X cards of your library. We've got a good Merfolk Lord here, so you can go ahead and buff all your Merfolk, and then whenever one or more Merfolk you control attack, you get to draw a card. So really stocks up your resources as well. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Nice art on the card. I really like all of what's going on here. We've got Patriot Shield Wielder. So this is another foil here, and what I do like is that it does give for just 2 mana, it gives another target creature you control +2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. If you're a big Spider-Man fan like I am, those cards aren't so good, so this will be a nice cheap addition to that. And then of course your island. Got our AIM Scientists. Whenever it enters, it connives. Agent of Atlas. Hour of Defeat. A Kunlun Warrior. Go Nuts. Again, another good Squirrel Girl edition. Knight of Wundagore. I don't think I've ever heard of this villain ever. Someone maybe in the chat help me out with this one. I'm not quite sure. Vibranium Energy Daggers. This is a good villain card, a good one to put in your villain deck. Whenever another villain you control enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target creature you control. So this is excellent. A free equip spell right here, just built right into your creature. And then whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, it connives. So then you get to draw a card and discard a card. And if it was a non-land card, you also get to put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So Pretty good, I would say, especially for an uncommon. We've got Speed, Young Avenger. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. Gives other creatures hastes. We've got Rick Jones. This is more of a mill card. You could put this right there in your Mole Man deck. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. This is another one I was hoping to pull. Whenever Captain America attacks, each other hero you control gets +X until end of turn, where X is Captain America's toughness. Okay, so go ahead and equip this bad boy with lots of equipment or auras, and then pull out other creatures, especially if it's a token deck, and voila, you've got your buffed up heroes. You've got your stolen Stark tech. So whenever this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Okay, so really good protection piece. Doesn't give too much other than that, just for 1 turn, but good for in a bind. Okay, another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here. So then this is a good one for whenever a creature you control attacks alone. Okay, so if you want a Voltron Commander, this is a good support piece here. Unliving Legionnaire, a good reanimator. A little expensive for the reanimation, but you do get to put 2+1/+1 counters on this creature when you do. Another Frozen in Ice. A Lightning Strike here. Good reprint. Super Strength. The Trample and Ward 1 is fantastic. Deep Power. Herbie Scout Unit. All right, so here we get into some of the artwork I'm not the biggest fan of. Here it actually turns out okay, but I think that by and large the art pieces that don't have the top here and at least a bounding box here for the actual card text, I think gets a little tough to read, and just the design's just not great. Epic Fight. This would be a good one for a Wolverine deck. Call Damage Control, a foil version. Of course, Avengers Hanger. And a Bold Biochemist. Got another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, so here's another good one. So this one is kind of more of your life gain drain through card draw. So just pack this deck. If this is your commander, pack this deck full of card draw effects, conniving effects, and you'll both grow, Kang, and also drain your opponents. All right, here's another good one for a Voltron Commander. This one could be pretty interesting. You have to pay a lot of life to really get it up and running and working the way you would want to, but you know, adding 2 mana of any one color is fantastic, especially if this is your Voltron commander. I think would make a good one. This is also a fun card. It's pretty cheap for what it does. Whenever Hawkeye becomes tapped, you may pay 1 up to 3 times. When you do, choose up to that many. So the very next turn that it comes out, you should have about 3 mana, and you should be able to choose pretty much all 3 of these if you choose to spend your mana that way. We have a foil Ultron drone. Again, excited to put one of these in an Ultron deck. Alright, the return of the Brave Brawler. Here we go again. Okay, Unleaving Legionnaire. We've seen that one. Shield Deployment Drone. This would be another good one for an artifact deck. Murdoch's Crusade. A good piece of removal here. Super Strength. Hulk Smash. A nice, big, beefy Timmy creature here with Savage Land Dinosaur. I actually don't know what this creature is doing here. I think Savage Land has something to do with comics, but I am not well versed in that. I mean, not with the comics, but just Savage Land in general. Okay, another card draw. All right, another Arnim Zola. U.S. Agent John Walker. When he enters, create a colorless equipment artifact token name Sturdy Shield, where the equipped creature gets +1/+2. Here we go. So this is one of the ones I was definitely hoping to pull. This is a great equipment card. As soon as it enters, it deals 4 damage up to 1 target creature, and you get to double all damage equipped creature would deal. The catch here is that you can only equip worthy, which means that the creature has to be a non-villain that's red or white, and you can discard it and deal 2 damage to each creature. So you got a bit of a built-in board wipe as well, depending on what the size of the creatures are. And then there is a Thor card that will allow you to pull this back out of the graveyard if you do discard it. We've got a foil Multiverse Incursion. And even a foil Fisk Tower. So here, we're starting to see a lot of... Oh, here's one we haven't run into yet. Undercover Scroll, a nice mana producer here. The Wondrous Wasp. A foil Lightning Strike this time around. And Asgardian Citadel and token. Did this one not come with a token? That's interesting. again, Knight of One to Gore. Kunlun Warrior. Another Ultron drone. This one's different this time, a Hulkling. All right. Abomination, Terrifying Titan. Certainly looks terrifying, and what I've seen in the movie is pretty terrifying. Oh, excellent. Okay, yeah, so I do already have one of the Secret Lair Wolverines, and I was excited to pull this one because I wanted to also put this one in the deck. So when Wolverine enters, he fights up to one other target creature. If damage would be dealt to Wolverine instead, that damage is dealt, but all other damage already dealt to him is healed. I know that's really confusing wording, but essentially this just says you have to knock him out in one punch. You'd have to hit him with 5 damage in one hit in order to kill him, because all damage previous to that is healed. So again, really strong card here. Excited for this to be either in another Wolverine deck or a Voltron deck of its own. An excellent one I'm looking to also add to the Spider-Man deck that I have. I'll share that at some point. Simply because of the lifelink here, and then when you put one or more +1/+1 counters on one or more other heroes you control, which Spider-Man does fit the bill, you create an 0/4 colorless wall creature token with Defender, so helps defend. Nice full art planes there, that's fun. And then of course, you can use this card to represent a double-faced card here. Oh, well, that's a cool little token there. Okay, removal some more. I really like the full art on this one. This one's pretty cool. All right, Viv Vision, another robot and a hero. So whenever Viv Vision attacks, draw a card if her power is 4 or greater, and for her power-up ability, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters. Overall, not that strong, but good for your Vision deck if you so choose. This is another good one for a Voltron deck. Not overly thrilled about this card. I don't really know much about the hero, but pretty cheap, and you can kind of grow him with his 2 abilities here, Brontosaurus into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it looks like he just goes up those 2 stages via 3 mana and 6 mana, and your power and toughness increases. Robot Domination. All right, I was stoked about this one too. I wanted to pull this one definitely for an Ultron and robot villain deck. I think this goes perfect with the blue-black version of Ultron. Super Adaptoid. A foil Roxxon Brutes. And then a full land. Okay, so this is another one that I'm going to end up reviewing here, one of my videos upcoming. Not overly thrilled about this one, but because it does have a dragon title here, the creature type, I'm going to be give this one a little bit of a look. A good little mana addition here, where you can crew it, and then you can do some damage for 3 or block with 3. All right, another crossbones here. I think this one is very akin to Perforos, God of the Forge, except for villains. So when another villain you control enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on crossbones, which does differ from Perforos, God of the Forge. But then he deals 2 damage to each opponent, and this ability triggers only once per turn. Another villainous hideout there, good for villain decks. Again, not overly thrilled with this artwork. This will be some of the quickest to go. I do actually like the comic book artwork that they show. Some of those designs I think are pretty dang good. Of course, I'm an avid comic book reader, so some of these panels really connect. A foil death to our enemies. A full art planes. Shield spy kit. Red Room recruit. And I think, by and large, there is a lot of draft chaff in here, but hey, if you've got a love for Marvel, then I think these cards are for you, especially if that's the intersection between some of your favorite things, being Magic and Marvel. Another good artifact for a robot villain style deck. When another villain you control enters, Yellow Jacket gets +1 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Oop, gave you a little sneak peek there. Foil version. And a foil Stark Industries. We've got our decoy ploy. Giant size flying ant. There you go. Here's for your Ant-Man deck. Web up. Serpent Specialist. Be good for your Serpent Society deck if you build one. Got a Hawkeye's bow. I know this one has really caused quite a stink on the internet. Wakandan Royal Guard. Again, another good card for a +1/+1 counter deck. Ultron Drone. Seem to be getting a lot of those. Alright, Crossbones again. I will take as many of these as possible. Hercules, Prince of Power. I guess his ability kind of makes sense there. All right. Okay, so this is some awesome artwork. So this reminds me of what you would see in a comic panel here. I don't know how good he is. When he enters, you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a non-land card. Does 2 damage to any target if you do. So I feel like that could be used and abused for 2 and 1 black or red. Got our Ruinous Wrecking Crew. right. Take up the shield, a nice foil version here. Good tap land, you gain a life, and then our token. Alright, squirrel token for our Squirrel Girl decks. Another giant size flying ant. Unliving Legionnaire. I'm seeing a pattern here. Web up. Red Room Recruit. A nice little mana dork here. A Volcanic Villain. Powerful Broker. Hydraulic Helper. Again, good for an Iron Man deck. Alright, Black Panther. For 4 mana and a 4/4 body. Whenever another non-token hero you control enters, choose one. So then you do get to create a token, or all creatures you control get a +1/+1 counter. Not counter, sorry. +1/+1 until end of turn. So the more heroes, non-token heroes you have coming in, either the more powerful your creatures will get, or the more extra soldiers you can get. A nice foil Aerial Doom bot. Again, good for an artifacts deck. Probably good for the blue-black Ultron deck as well, if you make that your commander. A full art forest. Got our robot villain. I think these tokens are really well done. I think Ultron being showcased here as a robot villain is fantastic. Got our shield spy kit. Gives the creature that it is equipped to vigilance, and you get to scry 1. And it gets +1/+1. So overall, not too bad of a card for the mana cost. Alright, Repulsor Blast. This is a nice piece of removal, a little high cost, but the artwork's awesome. I don't know what villain this technically is, but it's really cool artwork. Serpent Society include right there. Alright, Masters of Evil, another fantastic lord. You can have this for your villains deck. Buff all of your villains, +2/+1. So this is fantastic. A little high cost, but overall pretty good for a buff. And then you can discard this card and search your library for a plan. So you want to potentially stack your deck with plans and include this card in it. Decent body for the mana cost as well. All right. Yes. Again, one of my favorite cards of the set. Honestly, I know it is an uncommon, but with double prowess there, you can fill your deck. If this is your commander, you can fill your deck full of instant spells that buff this creature. And when you do, you buff it even more. You can give it trample. You can give it double strike, first strike, give it protection, and it just buffs and buffs. Mr. Hyde. What is nice is that this is repeatable, so you can put a +1 counter on it and then draw a card later. Nice instant sorcery return here. World War Hulk. Loved the comic. I'm not quite sure if I love the card per se, but yeah, comic was good. And we've got a foil Wakandan drone flock, a swamp, Right, and I will gladly take multiple copies of Sue Storm as well. Falcon here, I feel, is a good card. Whenever he enters, you create Scout. No, actually, I don't like that card. This is a great card that you might want to build a commander around. It's kind of a extort strategy, kind of life gain, life loss. Put in a lunar conviction with this guy, and I think you're going to be off to the races. Maybe some other extort creatures, and do the classic combo of Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood. Combine all those together, and you get, an infinite combo there. Also, stuff some creatures with toughness in there, since his second ability allows you to pay life to let creatures attack with their toughness. Another Wakandan drone flock. Another Hydra infiltration. Since we seem to be getting some duplicates here, I'll take a moment to talk about universes beyond and universes within, and my whole stance on that. While I'm not overly fond of all IPs, and I traditionally love the traditional Magic lore, I can appreciate good cards when I see them, if I feel like they're playable, and good art. So that's why it's still enjoyable to play other sets. Oh, another great card for artifact decks. Makes all of them cost one less to cast. Then you get to have, for 1 mana and tapping the creature, you get to target an artifact you control becomes a copy of second target artifact you control until end of turn, except it isn't a legendary, and activate only as a sorcery. So you can do this for pure artifacts, you can do this for creatures. I think this could be a wonderful addition to any deck that you want to copy more effects of. War Machine. And this is another good Voltron candidate, especially in the Pauper realm. Vision, another one I was hoping to draw. Another great Avenger. It's got flying and vigilance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So you could potentially get all three effects here in any one of your turns. And then, of course, we've got a foil Pet Avengers here. And Hell's Kitchen. Okay, good little piece of removal, and you get some Connive as part of it. Another Another duplicate. Stark Industries Executive. Rapid Rescue. Surveillance Room. Mana Fixer and Surveil. Claw, Sonic Subjugator. Alright, another good card here. So Killmonger. When Killmonger enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. Okay, so if there's a good way to flicker in black, you could probably continually sacrifice him and return him. So Reanimator, and you can ramp with green, so you can make that a pretty easy job. Okay, another card draw and then dealing damage to another opponent. If you could figure out a good way to draw cards repeatedly, you might want to avoid putting this in a red deck, but potentially an Izzet deck. Colleen Wing. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Calling Wing and scry 1. Alright, good for an Enchantress or Voltron deck, or good support in either of those decks too. Right, MODOK. MODOK is one I'm really excited about because if you pair him with something like Maha Its Feathers Knight, this card becomes a real menace. Okay, so then you could pay 3 life and go ahead and connive. So draw a card and discard a card, and if you discard a non-land card, you can put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And it also has lifelink, so that you can offset that cost eventually if you want to power him up a little bit. Or wait until you discard a non-land card and you're off to the races with MODOK. A Mr. Fantastic foil. Whenever one or more tokens you control enter, you may draw a card. Okay, so lots of different ways to create tokens. Even in blue, so you could trigger this multiple times a turn. Fisk Tower. Okay, Agents of Hydra. Good sack target right there. A nice counter spell here. So you're going to have to make the player pay 2 if they don't want their spell countered, and then counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead if you pay that teamwork cost. Okay. Alright, for your Ant-Man fans, we've got Ant-Man Colony Commander. You may pay 1 when you attack, and when you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It can be this creature, it can be another creature. It doesn't have to be this one in particular. But whenever you do, you also get to create a 1/1 green insect creature token, and its ability triggers only once per turn. I wish you could break this a little bit more where the trigger could trigger more than once each turn, but you know, it is an uncommon, I guess, after all. Alright, Doom reigns supreme. A nice way to exile cards from the top of your library and pay them without having to play them without having to pay their mana costs. Alright, another big pull I was hoping to pull here. Storm Wind Rider. She has basically Bower Passage. Creatures with flying can't attack you or block creatures you control. The attack there is the difference. Whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more creatures, those creatures gain flying until end of turn. Excellent card. So you can have non-flying creatures that act as flying, and then flying creatures can't block those, and they can't attack you either. So really controlling the skies. Foil Super Strength. And a full. Trickster Stratagem. This is a perfect card to add to that Thor Odinson uncommon card. Excellent target for that. All right, another fantastic Iron Man card. I know there are a lot in the set, but I just can't get enough of them. I know there's a lot, but I want an Iron Man deck that has all the Iron Mans in it. I don't care. These are great cards. Love the artwork in here. Of course of course he's the Master Machines. He'd have a bunch of his drone Stark tech with him. Okay, another excellent pull here. So this is a great target for a Voltron deck. The more powerful he gets when he attacks, the more damage he gets to do, the more life you get to gain, and the more equipment you get attached to him. It's hard to keep these things in line. All right, a foil version of Vision. Love it. I will take all the foil versions of my favorite heroes. Let's go. Let's do this. All right, we got ourselves another printing of Spider-Man here. Spider-Man to the rescue. Um, Overall, not really thrilled about this one. This one's okay. We got a nice commander here. Potential. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile another target non-land token permanent. So this is great for your Flicker Blink decks. and a foil Hawkeye's bow, and then our full planes. Oh, interesting. So I wonder if this one will have the double-faced card as well, since it doesn't have a token. Oh, I love this artwork here. Love this. Very, very cartoonish, comic book style. I do love that this has the top border there. I think this is fantastic artwork. Wish I would have gotten on foil, but this is still great. All right. I was hoping to get a foil version of this. I am stoked. I'm totally going to be building around Thor, Odin's son. Probably the other Thor as well. To have both. Why not? And there we go. There's that double-sided card. Ooh, Serpent Society. I'm actually surprised they added more support for poison counters. Totally gonna pair this guy with Finn the Fangbearer. All right, last one. This is the last pack. We've already pulled some great things in here. Let's see if there's anything we can pull in this final pack here. Madam Hydra. It'd be good for an Oops All Villains deck. Create a 2/1 villain creature every time you cast a villain spell. Red Hulk. What an absolute Timmy creature this is. A Timmy player's dream. Pair it with Flick a Coin and other similar effects to do some self-damage. Nice repeatable token generator here. Every combat you generate a token and put an invasion counter on this bad boy, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on the token for each invasion counter on it. So pretty powerful there. Okay, so now we're down to our final pack, the Collector Booster Pack. Hopefully we get some great artwork within this one. I wanted to buy just one of these so that I could simulate the average player's experience. I also didn't want to purchase a whole Collector Booster box at $500 or $450. I want to wait till those prices go down. No way I'm purchasing it at that price. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. So yeah, let's see if we get some. Let's see if we get some good pulls here. Oh, fantastic. I was hoping to draw a foil version of this. This is what I was hoping for. Let's go. Oh, a foil version of Robot Domination. Guys, let's go. This is fantastic. Nice. Monica Rambeau. Foil version too. It's got flying and prowess, so whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So front side's really good for some Spellslinger type decks. And you can play 2 generic, a red, and 2 white to transform her to Photon Living Light, where it's got flying, hexproof, and prowess still. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So stack this full of spells and creatures and let it pop off. Got a borderless Fin Fang Foom. And then, you know, artwork that's just, yeah. That's all for today. As you can see, I was able to pull some pretty cool and playable cards. In my opinion, the Marvel Superheroes Play Booster Box are worth it in terms of playability. If you liked this unboxing, go ahead and give the video a like down below and subscribe to my channel. Doing so costs nothing and keeps my videos coming to your feed.